Module 4, Lesson 1, Understanding Data Structures in R. In the previous module, we learned about basic types in R, date values, missing, null and other special values, as well as about factors. In this lesson, we will be familiar with the various data structures used in R. Also, know the most used data structure. Introduction. For any data analysis, the data needs to be stored in a particular format as per the requirement. To achieve the above goal, user needs to select appropriate data structure to hold the data. Also, enter or import data into the selected data structure. Data structures in R. We have various data structures in R. Vector, matrix, array, data frame or table, and list are examples of data structures in R. Let's understand about them one by one. Also, look at the colors. The color, a single color like light blue means a data should be of similar type. So from this we can understand that vector, matrices and arrays are always of the same data type, whereas data frame or list may have different type of data. Let's talk about vectors. Vectors are one-dimensional arrays that can hold numeric, character or logical data. Vectors are homogeneous, that is, all elements of a vector should have same type. These are the most basic and most used data structure. Here are a couple of examples of vectors. A vector can be either or all numeric. So for an example, P is a vector defined as values with 40, 60 and 30. Q is an example of a character vector with 3 character values, whereas R is an example of a logical vector. Matrices. In R, a matrix is a collection of elements of the same data type, either numeric or character or logical, which are arranged into a fixed number of rows and columns. So matrix is a two-dimensional array. You can see this is one of the example of a matrix. Arrays. Arrays are similar to matrices but can have more than 2 dimensions. An example of an array could be as following, where you have 2 bunches of matrices. Let's visualize something like 2 or 3 matrices put together. Data frames. A data frame is a table or 2-dimensional array-like structure. It is the most common data structure we will use in R. Each column must have only one mode or type, but you can put columns of different modes together to form the data frame. So for an example, student is a data frame with ID, name, marks and pass as 4 different columns, where ID and marks are numeric columns, while name is a character column and pass is a logical column. List. A list is a generic vector containing other objects. A list allows you to gather a variety of possibly unrelated objects under one name. For an example, a list may contain a combination of vectors, matrices, data frame and even other lists. So for an example, the list X here is a combination of a numeric vector 2, 3, 5 and a logical vector true, false and a matrices. Functions to list and remove objects. ls is a function used to list the object or variable names defined in the workspace. To see the structure of these objects, you can use ls.str function. Rm function will remove the object X. Whereas if you want to remove more objects at a time, you need to list them as Rm Y, Z. So it will remove Y and Z, the objects. Operators in R. In R there are various operators. The box brackets are very important in R. They denote indexing, whereas the colons shows the variables that you can access in a namespace. To extract a component or a slot, we use dollar or ampersand sign or @ sign. We do use other numeric operators also, as well as logical operators for comparison in R. Question mark is used to get the help on a particular function. Now it's time to check your knowledge. Let's wrap up. In this lesson, we learned that there are 5 basic data structures: vector, matrices, arrays, data frames, and list. Vectors are homogeneous and one-dimensional arrays that can hold numeric, character, or logical data, whereas matrices are two-dimensional arrays. We do have row and column. Arrays are similar to matrices but can have more than 2 dimensions. A data frame is a table or two-dimensional array-like structure but can consist of numeric, character, or logical variables at a time. Whereas list is kind of list of all data objects in a list. Vectors and data frames are used most widely in analysis. Thank you.